Hey, what's going on, everyone? Joe Menza here, and we're going to do a fun little rocky water scene on Strathmore 400. We've got the Ron Ranson goat hair brush going, a little bit of raw sienna tinting that background, and grabbing a little color off the palette here. A little raw sienna, a little bit of red. Lifting a little bit out, just trying to make that background interesting. We're trying to set the stage, really, for what the foreground will be. And in comes a little bit of blue, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Just a random placement, random brush strokes, trying to keep it lively. A few little strokes down the bottom, always looking for areas where we can leave a little light in. And now a little bit of a horizon line landmass. And some down here where the water's going to go. Just some little rocky areas. We got some burnt umber with a little bit of red. Leaving those areas open so we can have a little bit of water in there. And a little foliage, a little undersea green. Undersea green is a Daniel Smith color. I've talked about it before. There's not a lot of good greens on there that don't come off as kind of being gaudy, but undersea green is good. And if you have like pyroline green and sap green on your palette, you can kind of mix those together for some unique greens. And then you're not constantly ordering blue and yellow. And a little bit of Payne's gray just to mix that up a little bit. So it looks like we have some foliage along there. A lot of little rivers and things by my house, so it's one area I can look at for inspiration. Scratching a little rock with my plastic palette knife. And you can do the same thing for the other rocky areas. I think I'll put in a little bit of land here, or at least a couple of rocks. Maybe these will be sticking out of the water. And I'm blurring that down now with a soft brush. And back to the hake for some darks and some random marks. Same thing here, a little shadowy effect underneath these rocks. You can find some soft brushes. Even if you go to the hardware store and there's brushes there, for house painting, you can use those if you can't find these brushes. I mean, there are big brushes out there, even at like Michael's and stuff. I've seen some larger brushes. So we got little sandy areas there and a little bit of blue water. Again, these are just shapes. As I've heard other people say, and I say myself, is don't try to paint things. I'm going to paint a bush now. Just throw in those shapes and let your eye figure it out. A few little sticks, little twigs using my rigger brush. Strathmore 400 paper isn't bad. It's a little bit of a step up, I guess, from the 300, but it's a different paper. It feels different on the absorption. Obviously, cotton paper 100% is the holy grail of papers. But when you're practicing, you don't want to be spending, $30 for a pad of paper for 10, 12 sheets, you know. But you should have a pad that you can go to. You do maybe 5, 10 paintings. Hey, and take the best one. This one is turned out kind of good. I'm going to try to maybe recreate this and pull out that cotton paper. It's not a bad strategy. Again, if you're just doing this for fun, throw them in a frame. You're going to put them in your house somewhere. People will be impressed that you painted these. Now, I do like keeping a dry brush, and I can pull the paint, and it will create, for me, like a faded. I haven't seen anybody doing this. I've watched a lot of videos, and I haven't seen anyone using like a soft brush like this to create a faded or reflection effects. But it's important that you have a dry brush, which means you're going to have, if you're using the hake brush, you're going to need another hake brush. I'm just going in and darkening some areas using my darks at the end here. Darkening under the rocks, the shoreline. You put a little more dark underneath these couple of rocks that are sticking out, and then put a little burnt umber underneath, and it'll look like they're kind of sitting up on maybe like a little sandbar. And I'm going to re-scratch these out a little bit. This is a plastic palette knife, by the way. You can get a package of them with like different sizes in there. I think the metal is too harsh for paper. And then I put in that burnt umber and do a little blending. Looks a little reflective. Maybe it's sitting on a little bit of sand or something. Looks like it's up in the air. Well, that's it. Rocky Waters. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take a close look at it, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.